All right, let's dive into one of the most powerful and honestly little-known retirement strategies out there, the Mega Backdoor Roth. If you're a high earner, you're going to want to pay close attention.
Okay, I'm just going to put a number up on the screen. $77,500. Just take a second to look at that. What in the world could that be?
Now here's the question. What if I told you that you could potentially put that entire amount into your Roth accounts in a single year? I know, it sounds crazy, right? It blows the normal Roth limits out of the water.
But it's true. For certain high-income earners who are 50 or older, getting that much money into a tax-free growth vehicle for 2025 is actually possible. We're talking about a move that could add, literally hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of dollars in tax-free growth to your retirement nest egg.
So how on earth does this work? Is it some kind of shady loophole? Nope. It's a totally legitimate strategy that takes advantage of the huge amount of space the IRS allows inside certain 401k plans. It all comes down to finding and using that hidden space. Okay, so take a look at this. For 2025, if you're 50 or older, you can put in up to $31,000 of your own money into your 401k. But look at the total amount the IRS says can go into that account from all sources. That's you, your employer, everything. It's a whopping $77,500. That massive gap between the two, that is the opportunity we're talking about.
And that's where we get our definition. The Mega Backdoor Roth is simply this. You fill that gap we just saw with your own after-tax dollars. And then, here's the magic, you immediately convert that money into a Roth. Think of it like a two-step move. The money goes in after tax, and then, poof, you convert it, and all of its future growth is completely 100% tax-free, forever. So how do you actually pull this off? Well, it's a pretty straightforward four-step process. First, you've got to max out your regular 401k contributions. Second, factor in whatever your employer is kicking in as a match. Third, you fill up the rest of that space with your own after-tax money. And fourth, the crucial step, convert that after-tax pile over to Roth status right away.
Now, I know this sounds absolutely incredible, but before you get too excited, there is a catch. This is not available to everyone. Your specific 401k plan has to have two very specific features turned on. Think of them as two keys you need to unlock this treasure chest.
And look, I have to be super upfront about this. Most 401k plans do not offer this. This is a bit of a VIP feature, a gold-plated benefit you usually only find at big tech companies and other large Fortune 500 corporations. So the first thing you have to do is figure out if you're one of the lucky ones.
And here they are, the two keys. They're non-negotiable. Your plan must allow you to make after-tax contributions, and it has to allow for in-plan or in-service Roth conversions. That means you can do the conversion while you're still working there. You got to have both, one without the other, and this strategy is a no-go.
So what do you do? Simple. You literally copy and paste this question right here and email it to your HR department or benefits team. Does our 401k allow after-tax contributions and in-plan Roth conversions? This cuts right through any confusion and gets you the straight yes or no that you need. Okay, so let's assume you send that email and you get back a big yes. Let's make this real and run the numbers for a hypothetical 52-year-old high earner. All right, first up, our 52-year-old is a super saver. She's going to max out her personal 401k contributions for 2025. That's the standard employee limit plus that extra catch-up amount you can contribute for being over 50. So boom, that's $31,000 from her. Next up, her company is pretty generous. They give her a nice match. Let's say it adds up to $15,000 over the year. Now, remember, this money from the company also counts towards that big overall IRS limit. And now we can put it all together. You start with that big IRS ceiling of $77,500. You subtract her own $31,000 contribution. You subtract the company's $15,000 match, and what's left over? A cool $31,500. That is her available space for Mega Backdoor Roth contributions. And here is the single most important tactical move you have to make. That $31,500 goes in as after-tax money. You must convert it to Roths immediately. Why? Because if you let it sit there and it earns even a single dollar of interest or dividends before you convert it, that growth is taxable. You want zero taxable growth. So you move it from after-tax to Roth instantly, and the whole chunk gets that beautiful tax-free status. Now, a quick but really important point. This is the Mega Backdoor Roth. You've probably also heard of the regular Backdoor Roth. They are not the same thing. The Mega version is done through your 401k, and as you can see, the contribution potential is huge. The regular one is done through a personal IRA, and the limit is much lower. But here's the best part. They aren't mutually exclusive. You can do both.
And when you stack them together, wow. Just look at this. Our 52-year-old can get $31,500 in through the Mega Backdoor, and she can put in another $8,000 through the regular Backdoor Roth IRA. You add that up, and that's nearly $40,000 going into tax-free growth accounts in a single year. That is just astonishing.
Okay, so you've seen what this is, you get why it's so powerful. Now let's talk about what you should do right now, as soon as this is over, if you think this might apply to you.
It's a simple 3-step to-do list. Step 1, send that exact email we showed you earlier. Step 2, if you get the green light, your next call is to your 401k provider, Fidelity, Vanguard, whoever. Tell them you want to set up automatic conversions from your after-tax contributions to Roth. A lot of times, they can just flip a switch for you. And finally, step 3, you just have to go into your company's payroll system and elect to start funding that after-tax bucket.
Okay, 2 quick but important notes to keep in mind here. First, don't expect your company to match these after-tax contributions. That basically never happens. Second, you may have heard about a rule change starting in 2026 that affects high-earner catch-up contributions. That's a separate thing, and it does not mess with this core Mega Backdoor strategy we've walked through today.
And that brings us to the final, and for many of you, the most important question. This is a phenomenal tool, but it's exclusive. So if you send that email and the answer comes back no, if your plan doesn't offer these features, are you just out of luck? Or are there other powerful strategies still out there, hiding in plain sight?